everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Duskers. It's not me fixing my motherboard. This is one of those times where I will say, please don't judge a book completely by its cover. Wait till we get like 10 minutes into the game before you say, oh, look at this shit indie game looking like a command line. There is a little bit of that, like that's a deliberate aesthetic. The game is also in early access, so I'm presenting you with like every possible reason to not pay attention to this video that I know people bring up constantly. But I implore you, if you enjoy roguelike-ish games, think back to something like 868 Hack, where you might have looked at it the first time and been like, this is kind of like ugly, but I don't mean it in a bad way necessarily, but it ended up being really great. This is very similar to that. It's a roguelike where the best way I can describe it is you are kind of the guy in movies who operates like the little rover or the machine that'll go into like a spaceship or a cave or something like that and scout out what's in there and gather resources. It has a little bit of an overlapping narrative that fits over top of that. Two different kinds of modes you can play, like as the drone or as the drone operator from a more overarching standpoint. It's really cool. We'll just get in here and I'll explain what's going on. This is a copy that I got from the developer. This is not purchased with my own money. It is $20 on Steam, so it's very much in that like premium roguelike-ish category or premium indie game category. Is this my... Let me look at this for a second. This might be my old... I have this thing where I try to use my mouse to do it. No, this is a new one. Okay, cool. I'm not going to talk about this stuff yet. I'm going to just start up our first level here, and then you'll understand. You don't need to know how those systems work yet. The most important thing for you to see, I think, is the gameplay right off the bat. So again, imagine your original conceit here. We're kind of like controlling drones. Our spaceship is drifting without enough resources to survive, kind of like an inverse FTL or something like that. Alright, all agents are forbidden to enter or leave this vessel due to the risk of contagion. These are all procedurally generated ships, by the way. Now this is our view. This is one of our views, and this will be incredibly stressful, even though right now it might not look that way. This is like basically if we want to play as a commander, I guess I should say. We handle it this way, but we can also get in a little closer, and this is the way... I'm sorry, my mouse pointer's on the screen. This is the way that I think a lot of people will prefer to play the game, especially at first, because it's a little bit more intuitive, shall we say. So it's got like a minimalistic, almost like, you know, monochromatic Virtual Boy thing going on here, but good shadow effects and stuff like that, and it really kind of contributes to the claustrophobic feeling in the game, which is neat. So we have 3 drones. John, HP is 110 out of 110. They have Stealth, Gatherer, then Cubert has Generator, and Colin has Tow and Motion. These are all abilities that allow us to, you know, plan how we're going to move throughout these space stations where some things have gone terribly, terribly wrong. So let me come back here. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about this console down here. Very convenient to have this mouse pointer so I can, like, PowerPoint you guys. The console is where you type commands for your drones to do. I should point out right off the bat, if you're, like, only into roguelikes right now, at least, that are like fast-paced, nuclear throne, Binding of Isaac, stuff like that. This is very slow and methodical, but it gives you a really kind of cool sense of what you're doing, if that makes sense. Like, for example, I want to open A1, which is an airlock, but I want to make sure that there's no enemies in the other room that are going to hurt my drone. So I can type motion, and it has an autocomplete as well, if you're interested in that. But I can type motion in the console, and then we get this, like, motion detector, and the reason we get to use motion, as you can see if you look at the, well, I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen, there you go, you can see it right there, is because Colin used one of his motion modules, basically, to gauge this. Now, we can open A1, and then that will open that airlock, and then we could maybe control John, because he's kind of like our scout right now, because he has the stealth ability, and then go in here and see what we can get. So there's some power there. There's some resources, and as John has the Gatherer mod, which you can see in his top left there, we can type Gather, and then we'll pick that up and see what we get. We get some scrap, which is basically money. Ship upgrade. Recommended command info. Alright, info. Items found in R2. Power inlet and ship upgrade reroute power. Use tow to salvage back to the docking bay. Alright, so our goal is basically to harvest everything in here, and let's find our one with tow, which I guess is Colin here. So when we move Colin, motion's going to stop, because that's what he was doing. But we want to get all the resources in here, so I'll just back up to this and then tow it to our original docking bay. And then we're going to use all these resources and modules to help with our ship. Tow. It's like stop towing. I don't know if I've ever done that before. Stop towing. Perfect. It's very, very interesting. It's almost like stealth game with resource management but also like roguelike-ish elements on top because of the procedurally generated ships. What's really cool is that if you don't want to play it like that, you can also play with an overhead, or you can play with like a hybrid of the two. So get the mouse pointer off the screen. Let's say our second drone, as you can see here, Qbert, has generator. I want to power this ship so I can get a little bit more information about what's going on in all these other rooms. So we can type navigate, and then the drone number, which is 2, and then the room number, which is R2. And then you can look on the map, and you can see it's got this cool, like, John Carpenter or Aliens aesthetic here for the computer system, like vector art, what we thought computers would look like in 1980 when it was actually 2020, you know? And we can say, not gather, but generator. So we'll use his generator ability. He'll come over and power this stuff, and then we'll see, okay, we're going to close D21 quickly. You don't want doors to be open, because then if there are enemies, they can come in and hurt you. There are enemies that you'll find. Or also, there could be like depressurization like FTL. So now we'll type motion again, and Colin will use his motion ability, and we can see that there is nothing in these rooms. So I'll tell you what, we'll open D21, and we can type like navigate 1 R3. And even though it might not look engaging, once you actually get a sense for what you're doing here, oh, there is some kind of like defense in that room. We can switch to him and then look at this, and I'm very glad that that's not active right now. We could also open A5. A indicates airlock, D indicates door. Opening the airlock will vent the ship, and our drones will tumble out into space. So you want to be very careful about stuff like that. Let me look at my map here quickly. Tell you what, let's open D13. Just see what's going on in here. Oh, D13. Close it. No, close it. D13. 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 Okay, I don't know what happened there. There was some red, and I got spooked. Let's open D22. D22 seems alright. What is this? D16 door is no longer responding. Why does my mouse pointer keep going back there? D16 door is no longer responding. That scares the crap out of me. Okay, I believe this is a terminal, so we would need something with, like, interface. Let's try D14. D14 is not powered, so there must be something to power around here. Alright, D13 scares me a little bit. Maybe we'll come back into this room. What I'm trying to kind of show off here is that there's various different styles of gameplay, like different styles of gameplay for each drone, and you kind of want to use them together, like in a strategy game, like an RTS basically, because there's no pausing here. Okay, so I stopped powering sensors. What is this? There's like a trap or something, radiation on the ground. I've never seen this before. Is that what that is? Oh, it is radiation. Okay. That's my mistake. I shouldn't have driven over that. Okay. Let's open up D12. And you really do play it like an RTS, which is super cool. D16 doesn't work anymore, which scares me. So we're going to go back to our command module. We're going to say navigate 1 to R4. A closed door is blocking the path. Oh, sorry, that's not R4. What is that? Need to, like, zoom in here. I can't. R6, navigate 1 to R6. It has a little bit of, like, oh, God, don't go through the radiation, you dummy. Has a little bit of almost like a programmer vibe to it. I think it's one of those games that, we'll just use generator on this room. It is going to be like a little bit of a designer's game, if that makes sense. Like, I think game designers and other programmers are really going to like this, because the style of, like, issuing console commands and having little modules do what you tell them to do is a lot of what programming is. So it's really methodical and kind of like scientific and experimental, but you need planning as well. I think 8's resetting my mouse pointer, otherwise I'm an idiot. Okay, let's use motion. It's only seeing that room back there, I think. So we'll use D8, and then Colin will come in here and see what's up. That's airlock 2. We'll use motion. Oh, okay, so there is an enemy, it looks like, in that room down there. So let's open D9 quickly, and then be fast here. There are fast moments. Okay, well, what's going on here? This guy doesn't have gather, so we can't really gather those resources. This ship is, like, bigger than any ship I've ever seen before. Navigate 2, 3? I don't know. Yes, that it works! See, that's what's so cool. I actually didn't know that that was going to work. I was just like, logically, if I say navigate drone 2 to drone 3, it should work. And then we'll use a generator. No generator on that guy, right? We have to select them like this. Now, there are different lighting effects for each kind of drone as well. Like, John's got the, like, white lighting here. Qbert's got the green lighting. Colin's got the white lighting, too. What White lightning, more like. Let's use motion again. Strategic option. Herd enemies by opening door D17. So it wants me to be like a little, like FTL-like how you would move enemies into a new room. So we can do that, and I'll demonstrate. So let's open D17 here. And then we should see that motion line disappear. Eventually, the enemy will, like, move into the open room that we opened for them. Come on. I believe you. I believe in you. We can also open, tell you what, let's try this. We'll open D8. Or, we'll close D8. Oh, it's not powered anymore, right. Oh, okay. Navigate 1, 2. Sensor deactivated room 9. Okay. Then we'll close D9. So we're kind of locked into this room. Then we'll open D15, close D17, and open airlock 2. It's not powered. Ah, shit. What is the one that's next to it? I can't really see right now. Move this console a little bit. A7. Okay, open A7. So I've opened that airlock. Room R9 has now been exposed to the outside. Sensor deactivated R9. Okay, close A2, A7. So now it started leaking radiation. But that means it's not going to be good for us to be in that room, but at least we've taken the monster out, and maybe the radiation will go away. I'm not totally sure. But anyway, back to business. Let's get John here. John has gather. The whole reason we're here is to gather all of these resources. So we want to make sure that we're doing so safely. We'll go back to Colin. We'll open D18. Make sure there's no enemies in here. There are not. What is this? Oh, it's another robot. Another drone. So we can actually tow that. Can't tow drone Vinny because it's destroyed. Oh, you can get new drones this way, but I guess if it's destroyed, as you might expect, you cannot. So let's get our gatherer robot here, John. John hasn't been doing too much, and your whole point is to gather. So by not gathering, I'm doing a pretty piss poor job. Nothing to gather? I really thought you could gather destroyed robots. Maybe there's like a scrap option you can use or something like that. So we have not seen every room here. Radiation is completely flooded room R9. That makes sense. Another thing we can do is, like, we can tell our docking bay to move. So we can say, like, redock A6. Okay, dock A6. And then you can see, like, our docking bay is actually going to move. So we can pretty much move the exit for the floor wherever we want. And then we can come back here and do, like, navigate 1, 2, 3, which is all of our drones, to R1. A closed door is blocking the path. That's probably a good thing. Yeah, okay. Open A6. Navigate. I think they're already doing it. Oh, there's radiation! Go through that! Come on. Come on. Come on, you can do it. John! John made it. Cubert. Is Cubert gonna make it? We can buy HP for them later. But we did all make it into the docking bay, I think. More or less. Let's move them up just a little bit just to make sure. And there you go. And then we can type exit. And that's basically how one mission looks like in Duskers. It's the kind of thing that's... Oh my god. They lost so much HP. It's the kind of thing that's difficult to explain. But once you actually get into it, it's really surprisingly engaging. And I say that... I want to say that with the added caveat that it is really, really slow. This is a game that is not for the person who wants to jump in and then there's bullet hell coming at them. It's not Enter the Gungeon. It's not The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. It's not Nuclear Throne. It's not Spelunky. It is a much more methodically paced game. It reminds me a little bit more of, like... It's not a great comparison, but it's a little bit like Teleglitch in that there's large periods of claustrophobic quiet followed by, like, explosions of anxiety is pretty much how it works. This was the worst performance I've ever done. Okay, reroute power. This is something for our actual ship, i.e. the thing that is employing our drones, for lack of a better word. What does it actually do? Reroutes power in ship. Alright, well, it sounds like we should probably equip that, even though I don't know what it does in true roguelike-ish fashion. And we'll go to our drone config. Actually, I want to go to modifications. I should be able to repair HP here, so we'll use some of our scrap. We only have 4. Move between lists. There we go. Enter is QMod. Good. So we'll queue that. He should get 2, actually. Cubert can get 1. Colin can get 1. So we've used all of our scrap, but we've repaired a little bit. We can also turn our robots into scrap if we want to. I wouldn't really recommend that right now, probably. But if you find some robots that are bad and it would take you too much to heal them, maybe that's something you want to do. So this is kind of like our overarching world map for the game, for lack of a better word. You have systems, which consist of like a lot of ships that you can see around right here. We can mouse over those and get some information. Those all have distances associated with them, and the distance costs time and fuel and whatnot, which are all limited resources that you can see down here. Admittedly, I haven't played too much of the mega campaign. I've mostly been farting around with like, 3 or 4 excursions, and then like, okay, I messed up, let's start again from zero and try to do better this time. And then the systems are contained within galaxies, which we can actually go back with here. I do struggle a little bit with the user interface, but it's because the interface is meant to be navigated exclusively with the keyboard, but there is stuff you can mouse over. So I kind of get confused sometimes when I try to like click on something and it doesn't work. But it's because the game, I think, wants to really... Maybe it's because it's early access and they haven't done as much, UI, UX or whatever. You never know if that stuff comes in, second last or last. But it's... I think they want to adhere to this aesthetic of, like, this is 80s minimalism or something like that. 80s, like, retro-futurism. And then the universe is what contains the galaxies. But anyway, when you finish all of the ships within a system, or when you're ready to leave to another galaxy... to try to find more resources, you can actually do this by the galaxy mode. But for now, why don't we travel to W here, and that took 2 days, I think, or 2 propulsion, sorry, and then we'll board this ship and see what's going on here. And we'll just use all of our existing drones because that's all we have. This is still very, very, very early in our campaign here. I don't know how long a quote-unquote Duskers campaign is supposed to go, if it's 2 hours or 20 hours. And that's something that's important to know for like the flow of roguelike-ish games. But what I do know is that it's an incredibly novel style of gameplay that I don't think everybody is going to get. I wish I knew what this did. But whatever. What about if I just type reroute? Command out process. Reroute power. You know what? I bet if we power something that lets us move that power to another area on the ship we boarded. But anyway, it's the kind of game that's not going to appeal to everybody, but I think the people it does appeal to are actually going to love it. Motion. Just see if there's anything in there. It doesn't look like it, so let's say A1. Let's do a little bit more command line stuff here, or console stuff. Navigate 1, 2, 3 into whatever that room is called. I didn't give him a room. Okay, well, let's start with 1. We have some stuff to power here. So we're going to just type gather all, and he'll gather all the resources. And then we'll go back here and we'll say navigates 2, 3, R2. And then when they get into that room, we'll have 2. We'll do a generator. And when that gets generated, we'll close that door to D10 because it scares me. Sometimes your drones do get kind of like caught up on one another. So you have to micromanage them like this. Or no, wait, this might already be powered. Maybe it's not. It was not. Okay. D10. Close that up. All right. Let's navigate 3, 1. He's already in the same room. I thought maybe it would put him closer to him. All right, Cubert, you're going to stay there for a little while. What about reroute? Reroute is not valid. Reroute R1, R3, R4. Okay. What about reroute R1, R3? There isn't a power inlet. Okay, so I was right, I think, in my... use motion here. I was right in my interpretation, I think, of what that does. Okay, we're going to open D10. Navigates 1, 3, R3. So they're all going to move into R3 now and see what's going on in here. Doesn't look like there's anything, but there are icons that we can look at on our interface here that tell us if there's something. They tell us if there's a weapon or like radiation, or if there's an enemy, or if there's resources to gather on the ground, or like something we can tow, something we can interface with, etc., etc. Let's open D6 and we'll navigate 1D6. Or, well, no, sorry, we can't because we don't know what that room is yet. We don't have mapping there. So we'll just control 1 here. John. Sorry, he has a name. And there's radiation, which you need to watch out for. I almost wonder if there's like a... Oh, John, you're fucked. I almost wonder if there's a way to purify radiation that I'm just not familiar with right now. Let's close D6. Okay, open D10. Navigate 1, 3, R2. This is going to be probably some of the worst Duskers gameplay on YouTube, but I hope that doesn't... dissuade you. Let's navigate... 1, 3, R4. Because it really is an extremely novel style of gameplay that I've never really seen before. Oh, okay, we got some stuff here. We'll type gather all. Gathering some fuel. We got 0 days propulsion, 0 jump cells, so that didn't help us out very much. But those are like the big fuel things that you want because they can really help you out. I'll tell you what. Navigate 1, 3, R2. You guys go back. And then when they do that, we'll open D7. Close D7, sorry. We'll use motion. We'll use motion. There we go. Now I want to open A2. Let's open D4. And see if we can get the motion out of this room. And then we can just close that. And then open A2 and just vent the enemy out into the, you know, cruel recesses of space. There we go. We don't even have to open the airlock if we want to. Or if we don't want to. Because that adds radiation, of course. Instead, what we could just do is just explore now that we can. And we can reroute R2 to R6. Oh, it worked! Not that we really have anything in particular that we want to do here. So now I think we can just, Drone 2 taking damage. Drone 2 was disabled. Oh, you know what that... I wonder if that was like a rerouting power thing. I'll tell you what. We'll dock A3. And then navigate 1, 3, R3. And hopefully they won't go through the radiation. Although, actually, you know what? We should have, we should tow our old robot into safety. Because actually, when your robots die or your drones die, they're not actually dead. You know, they still consist of parts and stuff. You can harvest the parts from them. Oh, it was radiation. No, Colin! Ah, I lost Colin, too! Oh, man, this is subpar. Well, John, there was one drone not in the drone bay and we'll be left behind. Are you sure you want to leave? Yes, I'm sure I want to leave. Tomo, are you mad, man? I'm sorry I lost your 2 favorite drones there. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this Let's Look at Duskers, and I did... Oh, you know what? That's because I didn't open A3 and take this guy into the exit. But anyway, this guy's, like, real bad. Like, this campaign is real bad, but I can always start a new one, you know, that's the beauty of this stuff. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this. This is Duskers. It's available on Steam. It is relatively pricey at 20 bucks US, 22 Canadian, but it is also very, very unique, and I think if you're into kind of like these strange roguelikes, or you're into games that are a little bit more methodical and like mathematical almost, or computer programming, and I'm thinking of stuff like Infinifactory, Big Pharma, stuff that deals with like, I don't know, really like logic puzzles. This is like a logic puzzle horror action roguelike weird thing that is super cool and hard to describe. You can see if I go back to our main menu here, which I think we can do with the M button here. There are saves and stuff like that, but you can see the development progress. The audio is still very much work in progress. Gameplay and art are getting closer to the end, but this is really cool. I know a lot of people don't buy stuff on early access out of principle. This is a really interesting game that I think I want to show off because I think there are some people who are going to fall in love with it. Am I in love with it? Not necessarily 100% my cup of tea, but I think there are people who will become obsessive about this game in a way that is hopefully not irresponsible for them. And probably for like 70% of people watching this, they're going to be like, I don't understand this at all. But anyway, for everybody else, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button, and of course there is that link in the video description below to pick it up on Steam if you're interested. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.